Lake Erie is a popular place for Ohioans as a vacation destination. Those who like boating and fishing find it fits their needs. Along the north end of Ohio is the town of Port Clinton, which is known as the walleye capital of the world. And that's something really to crow about. Okay, maybe not. I had recently moved to the area and needed a job. I ended up working at a historic hotel known as the Island House Hotel. It was a 4-story building that had been constructed in 1870 and then rebuilt in 1882 after the first hotel burnt to the ground. The hotel is the cornerstone of the downtown of Port Clinton. I started at the end of the tourist season in October when it was starting to get cold and dreary, so they didn't have a lot of guests. After talking to some of my coworkers, I learned that the hotel had some supernatural residents that would make themselves known to the workers and sometimes to the guests. I just laughed this off as some local folklore and went about my job. One day I was cleaning up after an event and ended up in the back hallways of the hotel. As I moved down one of the halls, I saw a shape move quickly in the hallway in front of me, disappearing out of sight. Now I knew I was the only person on cleanup, and everybody else had either left for the day or was working the front desk. So this sent a little chill down my spine. Who the heck could be moving around back there? I moved down the hallway as fast as I could and rounded the corner and discovered the hallway was completely empty. And this was really strange because you would have needed a key to get out the one door, and even then you would not have had enough time to get out of sight. So this was really disconcerting. After a few moments to chill out, I turned around and went back to complete my task. And then I saw the shape again. It just stood at the end of the hallway staring at me. And I felt a malevolence coming off of it. I stood my ground. So did the shape. We were locked in a kind of stare down. And then the shape started lumbering my way. At this point, I knew my best choice was to get the hell out of there. I spun quickly and ran down the hallway. I got back out into the hotel lobby, and the person working the front desk looked at me, and they saw that I was rattled. They even said, "You look as white as a sheet." I asked him very quickly, was there anybody else working the hotel that night? And they said no. There were only 3 rooms occupied in the whole hotel, and they knew that those guests had gone out for dinner that evening, so there was nobody else in the hotel. I told him what I saw, and they smiled and said they had experienced similar things. We made our way toward the back hallway and stood at the entrance. And then we heard the rattle of metal, like somebody was moving the silverware. But there was nobody else in the building. This went on for a while. We both looked at each other, as if questioning, who's going to go back there and check this out? And both of us just shrugged. I finally said, I'm going to come back early tomorrow and finish the cleanup. I think I'm done for the day. My co-worker shook their head and smiled, saying, that sounds like a good plan. They went back to the front desk. I didn't work at the Island House Hotel for long, and I did see other things there that hastened my quest to find new employment.
Smash that like button and subscribe.
I decided to take a little vacation and ended up at the north end of Ohio along Lake Erie. I made a quick stop at Kelly's Island, which is a cute little place for boating and fishing opportunities, and there are a couple good bars to hang out in. But eventually I would end up in Port Clinton, Ohio. It's a small touristy lakeside town, and the main place to stay in town is the Island House Hotel. It was an impressive old structure with a long history in the area. I went into the main lobby and found it fairly impressive. I chatted with the person at the front desk, and they gave me a little history on the building and its importance to the area. I asked about local places to eat, and they gave me a few options. After that, I headed up to my room, got unpacked, and then I started thinking about what I was going to do for the evening. Once I was finished, I was about ready to go when I heard a knock at my door. But it wasn't followed by anybody announcing like room service or house cleaning, so I was a little perplexed by who it could be. I went over to the door and opened it. I looked into the hallway and found the passageway empty. This was really strange because it was a very long hallway, and anybody who would have knocked on my door would have had to been dashing very quickly to get clear of me seeing them. And I didn't hear any doors quickly shutting or frantic footsteps, so this sent a little tingle of fear into my stomach. After a few moments of thinking about what had just happened, I decided I might as well get moving and look for a place to eat. I was making my way down the hallway and had wrote off what had just happened, and then I heard footsteps behind me. I looked around, and there was nobody there. I held my ground for a minute, thinking maybe somebody was coming out of one of the rooms, but nobody did. Not being able to answer about where the source of the sound had come from perplexed me, but eventually I made my way to the elevator. It opened with a groaning sound, and then behind me I heard the footsteps again. I looked back, and this time I saw a dark shape deep down the hallway, just standing there, looking at me. I wasn't sure what to do, but whatever it was, it gave me a very bad vibe. The elevator started to shut behind me, and I quickly thrust my hand out to stop it. And then I looked back down the hallway, and I saw that the shape was closer and moving my way. I did some quick calculations, and I decided to skip the elevator entirely, and I ran down the stairs into the main lobby. I swear I could hear strange sounds like whispering or moaning following me down those stairs. I hit the lobby in a full run, and the desk attendant dropped their paper and looked up at me. They asked if I needed anything. At first I fumbled trying to come up with something to say, and finally I just blurted out, asking was there anything strange or haunted about this hotel. At first they said, well, it's just an old building and it has its creaks and stuff like that. But then they could see I was really shaken up. Eventually the woman said to me, I don't ever go on the upper floors by myself at night because I've seen things that I just can't explain. I told her what had happened to me, and she said she'd experienced similar things, but nothing bad had happened in any of her sightings. But they still gave her a great fright. I thanked her for sharing her story, and I found a local place to eat. As I ate, I pondered about what had happened, and if I should even return to my hotel room. But eventually I said, it's going to be too much of a pain to switch hotels, and I returned. Nothing happened out of the ordinary, and I made it to my room and got settled for the night. Everything went well, and I woke up the next morning not thinking about the previous day's events, and then there was a knock on my door. Again, I thought maybe it was house cleaning, and I went to the door, and I opened it, and I found the hallway empty again. I was supposed to stay 2 nights, and I decided to pack up and get the heck out of there. I was always intrigued by the idea of seeing ghosts, but I had seen my fair share at the Island House Hotel.